Parshas Kedoshim Bezras Hashem Shnas Tov Shir Pei Aleph. The Zohar HaKodesh, it is written in the Holy Kabbalah that when the Talmidim of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai would reach Parshas Kedoshim, they would be happy. You know why? Because it says, Daber el kol adas b'nei Yisrael. Speak to the entire congregation of Am Yisrael. V'omar talem, tell them, Kedoshim tiyu. Holiness is for everyone. Everyone can be holy Kedoshim. Being a holy person is not only for the select few, but rather for everyone in Am Yisrael. So the Talmidim were happy, Baruch Hashem, we can all be Zoicha, we can all merit to be Kedoshim tiyu. How can we understand this? As follows. We are now counting the Sfira Soima. Why? Because we were in the 49th stage of Tumah, and we reached on Shavuot the 49th stage of holiness, of Kedusha. So we count 49 days. Now I don't understand. If I were to come into the bank and I have a debt of 49 shekel in the bank, I have a debt. And I want to have credit 49 shekel. How much do I have to put into the bank? 98. Why? Because you need 49 to go into zero, and then another 49 to credit your account. So if Am Yisrael were in the 49th stage of Tumah, so then it's like minus 49. And then they reach 49th stage of Kedusha, of holiness. So then you need 98 days. So why do we count only 49 days in the Sfira Soima? From here we see that if a person may be in the 49th stage of Tumah, of impurity, the 49th, all the way down the bottom, and then he's mitchazek, he strengthens himself, avodas Hashem, and he reaches the 48th darga. He's not only that, he's now entered the first stage of Kedusha, of holiness. And the 48th to the 47th is in the second stage of holiness. Because everyone, in every stage where he's holding, he strengthens himself a bit more, he's entered the stage of holiness. And that's why we count only 49 days of Sfira Soima. That's why it says, Kedoshim tiyu, lekol adas b'nei Yisrael. Everyone is able to attain Kedusha from wherever he is, a little bit more, a little bit better, and then he's zoicha to enter another stage of Kedusha, of holiness. So holiness isn't just for the select few, it's everyone can rise up another stage of Kedusha, of holiness. Asks Rabbi Yashiv, speaking about Kedusha, asks Rabbi Yashiv the following question. In our Parshat, it says, Kedoshim tiyu, become holy, and the Meforshim explain, when do you become holy? Not everything that's permitted you should do. Become a holier person, an elevated person. But if we look back a few chapters earlier in Parshat Shemini, what does it say? It says, you are a holy nation, says as follows, you are a holy nation, Ki kodesh ani, because Hashem is holy, v'lo yisetamu es nafsheseichem, and don't cause your souls to become impure, b'kol hasheretz hashoretz haloretz, through eating all the insects of the lands. So in Parshat Shemini, a few chapters earlier, it says, how do we become holy? By not eating the remes, the shkotzim v'remosim, the insects, the creepy crawlies. Then Parshas Kedoshim, no, you have to become elevated. Not everything that's permittable you have to do. You're a holy person, a holy nation. So what causes the holiness? Says Rabbi Yashiv, the most beautiful moshel, beautiful parable. There was a man who was looking for a shidduch, a match for his daughter, and he was a very rich man who lived in a faraway village from Warsaw. And he came into Varsha, into the Warsaw city. There was a big yeshiva there in Warsaw, place of yeshivas. And he asked, I want for my daughter the biggest masmid, the most diligent student that there is in the yeshiva. And they showed him this bocher. He is 18 hours, he knows to learn diligence. A moedika masmid. Shoin, Baruch Hashem, they got engaged. They made the wedding in that faraway village, and all the rabbonim, the rabbis came from Warsaw for this most diligent bocher. And this rich man says, I will be able to support the bocher for his whole life. Such diligence, such a holy bocher to honor. A few weeks after the wedding, a young couple settling down there in the village, far away from Warsaw. And the father-in-law decides to have a bit of nachas from his new son-in-law. So he decides, I'm going to go to Beis HaMedrash to see him learning with the diligence. He comes into the Beis HaMedrash. He says, hey, where's my son? Where's my son-in-law? He doesn't see him. He looks here, he looks there. He says, your son-in-law, he just went to Shachris. So he looks on his clock, 10:30, going now to Davud Shachris. I'm sure he must have been busy with something. Maybe he learned the whole night and he overslept. I'll come back another few days. He comes back a few days later to the shul. He says, where's my son-in-law? Have you seen him around? He looks around, he doesn't see him. He says, he went for a hike in the countryside around the village. Beautiful hike, beautiful scenery. So that evening, he calls his son-in-law. He says, listen, you're a bocher that uses 18 hours a day. And I don't see you so much. I've been coming a few times to the shul, and I don't see you around learning. Where's the diligence? Where's the hatmada? Said the bocher, what do you mean? I'm the most diligent man in this whole village. I learn every day between Mincha and Mariv. Here no one learns. Maybe Shabbos afternoon the people learn. I learn every single day between Mincha and Mariv. There is no one more diligent than me. Said the father-in-law, did I bring you here to become the diligent boy of the village? I wanted you to be the masmid of Varsha. The masmid of Varsha, the 18 hours of learning. Not to become the masmid of a village. That's the Inyan. In Parshat Shemini, by not eating the creepy coolies and the bats, then we're holier than all the other nations. This divides us and elevates us from all the nations. But then we are only holier like the diligent boy of the village. We're only holier than the Goyim. But now in this week's Parsha, says the Ribono Shel Olam, I don't want you to be holier than the Goy. I want you to become with holiness of the Ribono Shel Olam. The holiness, such a high level of holiness of Hashem recognizes as holiness. And that's what the Parsha is about. A person can elevate himself, not just to become holier than the Goyim, but higher and higher. He sees the Gedolei Ador, he sees the Rabbonim. He tries to emulate their ways. He sees their holy ways. He says, I can become like them. Their purity, their holiness, the Tahara. And that's what the Parsha is, Kedoshim Tiyu. A person can aspire to great Kedush of the Ribono Shel Olam, not just being more holier than the Goyim. Thank you very much for listening.